The sky cracked open at 2:14 p.m., Eastern Standard Time. What looked like a ring of black fire unfolded high above the Atlantic Ocean, then expanded outward until it devoured the clouds. Within seconds, the first ship emerged, titanic, obsidian, and humming with unnatural power. It didn't announce itself. It didn't blink. It just hovered. Then dozens more followed, forming a silent armada above Earth. People screamed. Cameras rolled. Governments froze. The world had always speculated about first contact. But this wasn't contact. It was conquest. 2 hours later, the first harvester landed in the Amazon rainforest, a needle-shaped tower nearly a mile high. It drilled into the earth with a thunderous vibration that could be felt in cities 1,000 miles away. The ground cracked, trees collapsed, water boiled, the tower lit up, pulsing with a strange violet glow, and then began extracting. Oceans, minerals, atmosphere. It sucked the planet's resources into glowing channels that climbed the tower and disappeared into the sky, funneled toward the waiting fleet above. Entire ecosystems were consumed like gasoline, and just like that, Earth was being strip-mined. Commander Raina Maddox watched it all from a crowded bunker outside what used to be Atlanta. Former military, dishonorably discharged for insubordination, Raina had once warned that Earth wasn't ready for a non-human threat. They laughed at her then. No one was laughing now. She stood, arms crossed, as footage looped across the bunker's monitors. Cities in flames, air turning thin. Alien drones disassembling bridges, dams, and satellites like a butcher cleaning meat off bone. The Catharn, if that was their name, hadn't issued demands. They hadn't even acknowledged Earth's existence beyond a resource inventory. No comms, no diplomacy, just arrival and consumption. They don't see us as a species, Raina muttered. They see us as moss on a rock. A man in tattered civilian gear stepped closer. Commander, we have chatter from Canada, small town. Group of hunters took down a drone with an old EMP shotgun rig. Raina's eyes snapped up. They took it down? He nodded. Burned out half the drone. Said the thing bled blue gas. For the first time in days, Raina smiled. They can bleed. She turned to the others in the bunker. Engineers, militia, a few scientists, survivors. Survivors who'd been hiding, waiting, praying. Now they had something else, a reason to hit back. Raina grabbed a piece of chalk and started sketching on the concrete wall. An old military symbol, 2 crossed swords beneath a rising sun. Today, we stop hiding. No more bunkers. No more waiting for permission. We're not Earth's leaders, but we can damn well be its wrath. Someone chuckled. What the hell can we do against them? Raina didn't hesitate. We don't win by matching them. We win by outthinking them. Old tech, unpredictable tactics, local knowledge. They're not here to fight. They're here to harvest. That makes them vulnerable. We don't need to win a war. We just need to make the harvest too expensive. She underlined the symbol with a hard slash of chalk. Wrathcell 1. That's us. First strike team. We'll build it from scratch, steal what we need, hit fast, and disappear. Outside the bunker, the sky shimmered again as another harvester breached the atmosphere. It descended toward the Rocky Mountains, violet light trailing like the tail of a god's scythe. But this time, humanity was watching with more than fear. This time, someone was ready to strike back. They called it the Week of Silence. The Catharn made no demands, no broadcasts, no warnings. Their machines spoke in pulses of light, not words. Every hour, another harvester slammed into the ground somewhere on Earth. Each one the size of a skyscraper, each one draining the planet like a leech on a dying animal. The world's militaries tried. Tanks melted under kinetic beam strikes. Fighter jets were shredded by defense spheres that moved faster than thought. Nuclear launches never left their silos, disabled by pulses of invisible energy the moment countdowns began. Humanity, armed to the teeth, had its teeth shattered in seconds. In the Appalachian wasteland, Wrath Cell 1 was learning to fight differently. Commander Raina Maddox stood atop a rusted water tower, scanning the valley below through a salvaged military drone scope. The once green hills were now brown scars, trees had been liquefied, lakes sucked dry. But amid the devastation, alien patrol drones drifted like ghost lanterns, beaming pulses back to their towers. She took notes in a journal, not digital but paper. The aliens could read signals but not scribbled graphite. Behind her, the bunker doors groaned open and Marcus Chen, her lead techie, climbed up. "They're not protecting the harvest zones evenly," he said. "That sector over there?" He pointed to a ring of exposed soil and shimmering towers. "2 drones. That's it." "They've gotten comfortable," Raina said. "They don't expect resistance now." "Good." Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "We've got a prototype weapon. Kind of janky. But if it works, it might short a drone for 30 seconds. Raina's brow lifted. "That's enough time to rip one open." That night, under cover of a storm, Wrath Cell 1 made their first move. 4 people. Homemade stealth suits lined with blackout polymer. A scrap-borne EMP launcher rigged from old MRI coils. And Raina, carrying an improvised explosive built from stolen alien battery cells. They reached the tower base without detection. The air buzzed, low and constant, like a giant breathing. A patrol drone shimmered into view. Marcus took the shot. The launcher spat a spike of blue electricity. And the drone crashed to the ground like a puppet with its strings cut. The team sprinted. Raina slapped the charge against the tower's anchor node. It flashed red. "Run!" They dove behind rocks just as the tower erupted into a violet fireball. Alien metal screamed as it tore apart. For the first time, a Catharn harvester died on Earth. The response was brutal. The Catharn burned 5 square miles around the site. Anything that moved was incinerated by hovering sentinels. Civilian settlements were reduced to ash. Wrath Cell 1 lost half its scouts. And still, people started coming. Survivors trickled in from Tennessee, Kentucky, and the ruins of D.C. farmers. Paramedics, coders. They came with nothing but fists and fury. Raina welcomed everyone. She didn't say, "Welcome to the resistance." She said, "Welcome to the wrath." In orbit, the Exarch Mothermind processed the anomaly. Statistical deviation, human activity spike. Command directive updated, escalate. Containment. Yet, something unexpected tickled its neural subroutines, unpredictability, chaos, adaptation. Humans weren't dying correctly. In a hidden base beneath a shattered dam, Raina studied a captured drone core. "Marcus, what if we could reprogram one?" He hesitated. "To do what?" She grinned, a fire behind her tired eyes. "To take us right to one of their command nodes." He stared, then nodded slowly. "You're insane." "I've been called worse. The world was burning, but from the ashes, humanity had grown sharp teeth, and the harvesters were about to taste them." The drone core sat on the table like a sleeping demon, black, humming faintly, pulsing with alien light. Its surface was smooth as obsidian and cold to the touch. Marcus Chen circled it warily, gloves on, fingers twitching with anticipation. "And dread. You really think this thing can lead us to their network hub?" he asked. Commander Raina Maddox nodded. "They don't just build tech, they grow it. That means this core is connected even if it's dormant. We're going to poke it. Wake it up." "You make it sound romantic," Marcus muttered. "It's not romance," she said. "It's war." It took 3 days and 4 near electrocutions, but Marcus cracked it. Using a hybrid pulse sequencer, cobbled together from a microwave, a mining drill, and a salvaged Catharn capacitor, he forced the core to reboot, and then it spoke, not in words but in images and pulses of code. Blueprints, energy routes, target maps, among them, A central relay node in what used to be northern Colorado. It pulsed with energy, active, alive, and unguarded, because the aliens didn't think humans could find. That was mistake number 2. The convoy moved through a burned-out valley at dusk, 3 stolen fuel trucks, 2 jury-rigged tanks, 1 armored personnel carrier that used to be a pizza delivery van. It was patched together with sheet metal and Catharn plating, and its cannon was a reprogrammed mining laser. Reyna led the column. She didn't smile. Not now. Not with what they were about to attempt. She climbed onto the roof of the APC as they approached the relay site. The valley below shimmered with violet mist. 5 monolithic towers stood in a circle, linked by arcs of raw plasma. Between them, a swirling rift bent the air itself. It was beautiful, and it was killing the planet. "Right there," Marcus said. "That rift? It's not a wormhole, it's a drain. They're funneling Earth's core heat. Geothermal rape, basically." Reyna clenched her fists. "Then we plug it." They had one shot. The fusion charge they'd built used a Catharn core and a stolen reactor. If they planted it at the convergence point, right where the plasma arcs met, it would trigger a feedback loop strong enough to collapse the node. Of course, the moment they moved in, they'd be swarmed by drones. Wrath Cell 1 didn't care. They charged down the slope like ancient warriors with future tech. EMP bombs launched from slingshots. Drones exploded in midair. Reyna ran ahead, plasma slicing through her shoulder armor, and never stopped. She reached the convergence point, planted the bomb, and slammed the trigger down. A heartbeat passed. Then, the valley became a sun. From orbit, the Catharn fleet registered the detonation as an energy bloom exceeding predicted parameters by 6,000%. The relay network sputtered. Systems failed. Sub-harvesters went blind. Planetary compression fields destabilized, and worse, the humans had done it with primitive tools. The Exarch Mother Mind issued a system-wide recalibration. Humans were no longer classified as non-interfering fauna. They were now tagged hostile, uncontained, inconvenient. In the crater, Reyna lay gasping, half buried under rubble, soot melted to her skin. Her ears rang, her lungs burned, but above her, clear sky. The towers were gone. The rift was gone. She had bought them time. Boots pounded toward her. Marcus knelt by her side, blood on his face, smiling through the pain. "You crazy old hammer," he said. "You actually did it," she coughed. "They're going to hit back harder." Marcus nodded. "Then we hit harder still. All across. Earth." Something shifted. In bunkers and ruins, humans watched the sky and realized the harvesters weren't untouchable. They could be fought. They could be broken. The spark had caught, and now the fire was coming. The explosion at the Colorado. Relay node wasn't just a victory. It was a signal, a message, transmitted not with words, but fire. Earth is not yours. Reyna Maddox spent 2 days recovering in a mobile med tank, her body wrapped in healing foam, skin grafts knitting under biolights. She couldn't walk without pain. But the moment she could stand, she did, grimacing, jaw clenched. They didn't have time to heal, not when war was catching up. Across the world, other cells began to form. Pockets of resistance, civilians, soldiers, scientists, and survivors found each other through hidden signals, radio bursts, old military frequencies once thought dead. They called themselves the Wrath Network. "Welcome to Cell 7, said a gaunt woman with burned scars across her face. Her name was Anya, a former Russian intelligence officer now commanding a unit in the ruins of St. Petersburg. "Your blast in Colorado inspired our people. We brought down 2 sub-harvesters yesterday." Reyna, patched into the meeting via a jury-rigged holo unit, nodded from her field tent. The connection flickered with static, but the resolve in every face on screen was clear. "We've seen similar results in Southeast Asia," added a wiry man named Vin, his background filled with jungle and smoke. The moment we started disrupting the relay towers, their drones began glitching. "They're linked," Reyna said. "Like a nervous system. Cut a nerve and the whole body twitches." Anya leaned forward. "Then we go for the brain." Their plan was madness. A full-scale, coordinated assault on one of the Catharn command ships, the Leviathans in low orbit that directed resource operations. The Catharn had never considered Earth's surface dwellers a threat to orbital assets. They were about to learn otherwise. Cell 9 had developed a way to hijack the gravitational lifts that connected some harvesters to the command ships above. If they could take control of one, they could send a payload straight into the sky, straight into the enemy's heart. The selected site was in South Africa, a harvester complex built into the ruins of Johannesburg. Surrounded by scorched earth and veiled in violet mist, it had become one of the planet's biggest extraction points. The relay tower there connected directly to command ship Vra-Ektor, responsible for continental resource harvests. Reyna arrived with 30 fighters. She left with 10. Drones poured from the towers like hornets. The Wrath network fought back, with reprogrammed robots, hand-forged railguns, and sabotage rigs built from washing machine parts. They knew they wouldn't survive. That wasn't the point. The goal was to buy time, enough for Marcus and a 2-person tech team to breach the lift controls and redirect its path. Deep underground, Marcus worked through sweat and smoke, his hands a blur over alien consoles. "They're patching the breach," he warned. "Then punch it now," Reyna barked. "Even if we haven't loaded the whole payload, we'll lose half the charge. Do it!" Marcus hit the button. Above them, the gravitational lift stuttered, then reversed. The alien system screamed. Plasma lines flared, and the entire central core of the Johannesburg harvester launched upward like a bullet through space. In orbit, the Vra-Ektor command ship registered the breach too late. It turned. It shielded. But the harvester core struck the underside like a tungsten hammer. The ship buckled, imploded from within, and exploded in a ring of shattered light visible from 3 continents. The sky screamed, and billions of humans cheered. Back at base, Reyna collapsed beside a fire pit, exhausted and bloody, her voice hoarse from smoke and shouting. "We just took out a goddamn starship," Marcus said, sitting beside, her awe in his voice. Reyna didn't smile. She looked up at the sky and whispered, "Now they're going to take us seriously." The night sky burned. Across continents, the alien towers began to falter, cracks splintering their monolithic forms, violet energy sputtering and fading. The destruction of the Vra-Ektor command ship sent shockwaves through the Catharn Empire's control grid. Without their orbital command node, coordination between harvesters and drones fractured into chaotic bursts. This was the moment humanity had prayed for. In the ruins of Paris, a city once celebrated for culture and art, resistance fighters moved, like shadows. Led by Captain Elise Martin, a former urban search and rescue specialist, Cell 4 had transformed the city's subway tunnels into a sprawling underground fortress. "We hit them where they're weakest," Elise said over comms, voice steady despite the danger. "Their towers don't regenerate fast. We cripple the nodes and their drones go blind." Her team of 50 navigated debris and collapsed platforms, each carrying a custom EMP device fashioned from scavenged tech. The plan was simple but brutal. Infiltrate, disable, and disappear. Meanwhile, in the deserts of Australia, Wrath Cell 11 faced a different battle. Harvester towers here drew from vast mineral veins. The desert winds carried the hum of alien machines, steady, relentless. Maya, Singh, the cell leader, studied a holographic map lit by firelight. "We can't stop the towers outright," she said, "but we can cut their supply lines, blow their conveyor systems, sever their energy lines." Her team moved like ghosts beneath the hot stars, planting charges along steel conduits and cables. Explosions rocked the desert night, severing power and communication lines. The alien towers flickered. Back in the Appalachian wasteland, Reyna gathered intelligence from intercepted Catharn drone transmissions. "Listen to this," she said to Marcus, playing the distorted signals. "They're panicking. They're talking about adaptation zones and hostile vectors." Marcus frowned. "They're trying to reconfigure their drones to resist EMPs and sabotage." Reyna slammed her fist on the table. "Then we hit harder and faster." She pulled up a map littered with red dots, the locations of all known Harvester towers. "We're going to collapse their infrastructure piece by piece." The battle for Earth's future became a war of attrition. Alien harvesters fought to rebuild, pumping resources faster than the Wrath network could destroy. But human ingenuity and fury proved relentless. Each destroyed tower sent waves of hope through the battered human communities. More fighters joined the cause. Scavenged tech turned weapons of liberation. Humans who'd once feared extinction now felt the tides turning, yet the Catharn adapted. They deployed new drone variants, larger, smarter, shielded in crystalline armor. In the skies above Chicago, a drone swarm formed a living shield around a newly constructed tower. Reyna's voice crackled through comms. "They're learning. This fight will only get worse." But so would humanity. In a hidden workshop, Marcus unveiled a new weapon. "Plasma disruptors," he said. "Small, portable, can punch through their shields. If we can mass-produce these, we'll give every fighter a chance to strike anywhere." Reyna's eyes gleamed with fierce determination. "Then let's make them count." Humanity's rage had become a storm no alien machine could weather. The tower cities were beginning to fall, but the war was far from over. The skies over Earth darkened, not from smoke, but from an armada. For the first time, the Catharn fleet descended in force. Not just harvesters, but massive warships, black and spiked like predatory beasts. Their engines hummed with terrible power, weapons arrays glowing with lethal anticipation. They came to crush the rebellion. Reyna stood on the cracked rooftop of a bombed-out skyscraper, binoculars in hand. Behind her, the remnants of Wrath Cell 1 prepared for the battle to come. The wind tugged at her hair, carrying the distant rumble of alien engines. "We've slowed them," she told the assembled fighters. "But now they're bringing the hammer down. This fight is about survival." Marcus joined her, a battered plasma disruptor slung over his shoulder. "We've got new toys," he said, voice steady. "But they'll need to be used smart." Reyna nodded. "Then we give them hell." The Catharn warships established orbital lockdowns, cutting off Earth's satellites and communication arrays. But humanity was ready. The Wrath networks. Hackers launched a counterstrike, flooding alien systems with viruses and jamming signals. Meanwhile, ground teams prepared ambushes, using guerrilla tactics learned over months of brutal warfare. In the Nevada Badlands, Maya Singh led Cell 11 in a daring assault. Their target, a massive warship tethered to a harvester tower, siphoning Earth's molten core. "Today," Maya said, voice resolute, "we strike the heart." Using stealth suits and plasma disruptors, they slipped past patrols and drone swarms. Explosions rocked the tower as charges detonated, severing the energy link. The warship faltered, sparks flying from its hull. But the true test came when the Catharn retaliated. The warship unleashed a barrage of plasma storms, scorching the desert and forcing the humans to retreat under withering fire. Maya's squad suffered heavy losses, but the tower crashed to Earth in a cascade of molten metal. Elsewhere, Reyna led a strike team toward the ruined city of Denver. They infiltrated a command hub, the nerve center coordinating the alien war effort on the continent. Inside, the air was thick with alien technology, pulsing glyphs, swirling data nodes, and the cold hum of control arrays. Marcus hacked the central console, fingers flying over alien runes. "We're in," he whispered. "Uploading a virus that'll cripple their entire regional network." Suddenly alarms blared. The alien defense systems activated. Drones swarmed the room. The battle was desperate. Reyna and her fighters held the line, plasma disruptors flashing through smoke and sparks. The walls shook as the building's defenses tried to crush them. With a final keystroke, Marcus triggered the virus. Systems crashed. Screens went dark. The alien command hub fell silent. On the other side of the planet, the Exarch Mothermind reeled. Humanity was no longer a nuisance. They were a reckoning. Their unpredictable fury, their relentless adaptation, it was an evolutionary curve the Catharn had not foreseen. Back on Earth, Reyna looked to the horizon, where warships loomed like nightmares made real. "We've broken their system," she said softly. "But this war, it's just beginning." Her voice carried the weight of a people who had stared into the abyss and chosen to fight. The horizon burned with the light of 1,000 plasma cannons. The Catharn warships descended in fury, their engines roaring like celestial beasts bent on annihilation. Reyna Maddox stood at the forefront of humanity's last great battlefield, a shattered cityscape now transformed into a fortress of determination and defiance. Around her, the Wrath Network fighters prepared for what might be their final stand. "This is it," Reyna said, voice steady but heavy. "They thought we were weak, slow, primitive. They thought Earth was a resource to harvest, a pest to extinguish. They were wrong." Her gaze swept across the ragtag army, soldiers with makeshift armor, scavenged weapons, and fire in their eyes. "Today, we fight for every breath. For every home burned, for every soul lost." The fighters responded with a roar that shook the ruins. Above, the Catharn deployed their drone swarms, clouds of iridescent death weaving through the darkening sky. But humanity was ready. Marcus. Chen, beside Reyna, deployed the newly mass-produced plasma disruptors in volleys. The air erupted in flashes of blue and orange as the disruptors pierced drone shields, turning them to scrap metal mid-flight. But raw firepower was only part of the battle. The Wrath Network had one final gambit. Buried deep beneath the battlefield was the Heartbreaker device, a weapon designed to unleash a feedback cascade into the Catharn energy matrix, destroying their power grids and severing their control over drones and harvesters alike. The team tasked with activating the Heartbreaker, led by Anya from St. Petersburg and Vin from Southeast Asia, fought their way through collapsing buildings. And alien sentinels. Inside the ruins, Anya's comm crackled. "We're almost there," she said, breathless. "Cover us." Reyna sent reinforcements, but knew the path was a gauntlet. The countdown to activation began. Above ground, Reyna led a charge directly at the warship's landing site. The Catharn unleashed their most advanced fighters, towering mechs with crystalline armor and plasma blades. Reyna met them head-on, dodging deadly strikes, her own plasma rifle singing in defiance. She thought of the billions counting on this moment, the survivors, the fighters, the fallen. She would not fail. As the Heartbreaker's countdown ticked closer to zero, the ground trembled. Explosions rocked the battlefield. Marcus's voice came over comms. "We're in position." "Do it," Reyna replied. A pulse of energy exploded from underground, a wave of blinding light and thunderous sound. The Catharn warships shuddered, their power grids overloaded. Drones fell from the sky like broken toys. Harvesters collapsed. A moment, silence. Then cheers erupted. Humanity had turned the tide. But as Reyna looked to the sky, she knew this victory was but a step. The universe beyond was vast and dark, and humans, fierce, stubborn, unbreakable, had only just begun to fight. The skies cleared, but the air was heavy with the scent of ash and victory. From the scorched earth, humanity rose, not as victims, but as conquerors of their fate. Reyna Maddox stood atop the ruined remnants of a harvester tower, the first rays of dawn casting gold over a battered world. Around her, survivors gathered, wounded but unbroken, their eyes burning with hope. The Catharn forces were shattered. Their warships drifted like wounded beasts in orbit, crippled and directionless. Their drones were nothing more than metal, husks scattered across Earth's surface. Humanity had won, but the war had changed them. "What now?" Marcus Chen asked, his voice quieter than before. "We've beaten the harvesters, but the galaxy is vast, and we know now we're not alone." Reyna looked out toward the stars, her heart heavy with the weight of new responsibility. "We rebuild," she said. "Not just our cities and homes, but our place in the universe. We're no longer just Earth's last hope. We're humanity's first step forward." The Wrath Network began the work of healing and defense. Technologies scavenged from alien wreckage became tools of progress. Humans studied the Catharn tech, learning faster, adapting quicker. The species that had once been prey was now a rising force. Far beyond Earth's atmosphere, the remaining Catharn command ships limped away, scarred and wary. They would return, but they would not find the same weak, divided humans they once sought to harvest. They would find warriors, united, fierce, and ready. Reyna turned to her comrades, her voice steady with resolve. "Let this be our message to the stars. We are here. We are strong. We will never fall." The crowd roared, a thunder of hope echoing through the broken cities. In the vast silence of space, a new chapter began. Humanity's wrath had awakened, and the universe would never be the same. The end.